Hello and welcome back to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is the 18th of April, 2025, baby. And we are going to do another crypto live stream today and talk about these wonderful markets and everything that they can do for us as crypto investors to get rich and make fat profits and have a bulging bank account and massive crypto wallets. What is up, sleeping Korean guy? Hello, welcome to my live stream. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to be a crypto investor, baby. So let's go ahead and start with the total crypto market cap here today. And let me know, you guys, if the volume is like the right level, if it's too quiet, too loud. I can adjust it pretty easily. It looks like on my software it looked good, but sometimes I like to double check to make sure that the volume is nice. Please recap about Theta and T-Drop. We love you. Well, thank you for the love. And yes, I will absolutely talk about Theta and T-Drop. In fact, we can do that right now. I don't want to make you wait. Then we'll get into the total crypto market cap after. Because, here's the truth. These markets are stupid undervalued. And a lot of altcoins are some of the best entries that you could possibly have, including Theta. What is up, Light Clothed? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for taking a minute to tune into today's live stream. I'm very excited about the stuff we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, it's going to be a good day. Let's go ahead and pull up Theta right here. And yeah, we'll get started here with Theta. So, as you guys can see, we did move down just a little bit lower here on Theta. So we made a slightly lower low, down to 64 cents. When the market does this, when it's moving down like this, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, and a little bit lower, a lot of times people end up just breaking. Like they can't handle it anymore. They get to a point where they're like, whoa, this market is going down and I can't handle this anymore. And that is what's happening for a lot of people with their altcoins in crypto right now. They're freaking out. They're going, you know what? I don't know if I can handle this anymore. And they're flipping bearish and they're using all of these different things to justify their opinion on the market going lower when really they should be focused on buying people's fear, because that's what's going to be the most lucrative and profitable. I wonder what the heck that crazy sound was on my computer. Normally I never get that. Oh well. Anyways, so when the market's going down lower and lower and making lower lows like this in the short term, then people have a tendency to freak out. And a lot of times that last lower low that happens is usually where most people just can't handle it any longer and they end up selling their crypto. So the worst thing that you can do in a time like this is sell. It's just the worst, absolute worst thing that you can possibly do for crypto. Or for any market in the whole world for that matter. But a lot of people end up doing it. A lot of people go, you know what? I can't handle this anymore. I'm going to sell. So don't be that guy. Okay? Now, if we look at Theta currently, we do have a falling wedge pattern right here. So you can see we have a nice falling wedge, just in the same way that we had a falling wedge right here before it broke out and pumped in November and December of last year. I guess a little bit in November and especially in December, we really started to pump here on Theta, right? And so that was because of a bullish breakout of a falling wedge pattern. That's why we pumped so hard right here on Theta. Now, we did hit resistance. We failed to break above that resistance. Bitcoin rejected and the rest of the markets rejected. So we did pull back down here. But the reason we had such a nice move here in the first place was because of the fact that we broke out bullish of a falling wedge. So the fact that we're getting another falling wedge here on Theta, and it's fractaling the same pattern over and over again, because markets are fractal in nature and they repeat the same structure over and over, that's a really, really, really good sign here for Theta. And I do think we are going to see a nice reversal off of these lows and a big move. A lot of people don't realize just how undervalued these markets are and just how close we are to major support. We're on major support. And the worst thing you can do is sell support. So definitely keep accumulating your favorite coins if you guys want to make money in crypto. Keep accumulating your favorite coins. That's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to be able to make money in these markets. Mark my words. Buy support. A lot of people get this so backwards. You know, they sell support and they buy resistance. That's the worst possible thing that you could do. Let's pull up Ethereum here and I'll show you. See, I've been in crypto for many, many years now. I got introduced to crypto. I got introduced to Bitcoin back in 2014. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2015. My little brother, he was really just this awesome young guy that was on the internet looking around, watching Watch Mojo videos on YouTube. I don't know if you guys know what Watch Mojo is. And he heard about this thing that you could mine with your computer and make money. And he told me about it. He's like, there's this coin. It's this digital currency, Dallin. And you can mine it with your computer and it's worth real money. And I looked at him and, you know, I thought this has got to be the biggest scam in the entire world. There's no way that my computer can make me money, right? That doesn't sound real. So I told him, I was like, Caleb, you have to be careful on the internet. There's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of fake stuff. You know, be careful on the internet. And I think he knew that I was wrong because he kind of brushed off what I had to say. And anyway, so I got looking into it later and I did a little bit more research and I realized this Bitcoin is a real technology. This isn't just some scam. This is actually like the blockchain is revolutionary technology, a new way to handle databases, a new way to handle money, a new way to handle a whole list of different things. And I realized that my little brother was onto something. So fast forward to 2015, I bought my first Bitcoin. So I've seen the 2017 bull market, the 2021 bull market. I've seen the bull markets, the bear markets. I've made money. I've lost money. I've had all the ups and downs, everything that you can think of. You know, I have a lot of experience in these markets. And no, you know, obviously there's people out there that have been around crypto since like 2011 and really, really early OGs. But 2014 is pretty early on, so I know how these markets work. And I'm here to tell you that what is happening on Theta right now is literally no different than what happened on Ethereum in 2019 and 2020. It's the exact same thing, you guys. Coco Crypto, what is up? Thank you for tuning in to today's live stream. So this is the exact same thing that happened in 2019 and 2020 on Ethereum. So what you have here is you have the bottom of Ethereum right here at around $80 and the early signs of a bottoming structure. The market goes up, but then it hits resistance, right? It gets a little bit overvalued in the short term. People are getting a little greedy. So it pulls back. It makes a false bottom. Everybody thinks this is the bottom. Everybody thinks it's going to just start to moon. And it does start to moon a little bit, but then it hits resistance again, right? It hits local resistance right here. And it goes for one more low. The market goes down for one more low. And it doesn't go for a new low. It just double bottoms right here at our previous low. But it goes below what everybody thought was going to be the bottom and shakes out a lot of retail investors and a lot of people that don't understand market psychology. And if you look at Theta right now, here in 2025 and 2024, where we've just seen the same exact market structure happen with Theta, where we bottomed out down here at 57 cents. We started to moon. People got a little bit greedy in the short term. Your average investor starting to think it's going to go up and the whole bull market's going to start. But they have to get screwed. They have to get shaken out of the market before the real bull market starts. So it comes down, makes a false bottom, comes up, hits resistance, and goes right back down to major support. So the worst thing you can do is sell support. Because what can easily happen here with Theta is a V-shaped recovery in the beginning of a bull market. And we're just zoomed in here on the daily, and we're going to talk about the total crypto market cap and stuff in a second. But here on the daily chart, you can see the similarities between the daily chart on Ethereum during the bottom of its last cycle in 2019 and 2020, or I guess not its last cycle, but the one before that, right? And the bottom on Theta currently. It's the same human emotion, the same market structure. Even, you know what's even crazy about it? There was a black swan event right here, COVID, and everybody's considering this tariff situation to be a black swan event too. So even the world events line up with the market structure. How crazy is that? It just goes to show that markets don't move because of world events. They move because of human psychology, and everybody attaches world events to the movement in the market because it's their favorite way to justify their panic selling. Now, if we zoom out right here to a little bit of a higher time frame, like let's go with the 15-day on Ethereum, and we'll pull out the Ethereum chart here, and then we'll go to the 15-day on Theta, and we'll stretch this chart down like this too. Now you can also see that even in the bigger time frame as well, the market structure is the same. Now, can you imagine how many people would have panic sold their Ethereum here in 2020? A lot of people did. A global pandemic had just hit. Are you kidding me? Do you really think people were thinking about taking risk? They were thinking about building bunkers, not taking risk, right? That was the psychology of the general public. But look what happened right after the COVID drop. Ethereum broke out to a new all-time high and saw a massive bull market, and I really believe that is what's coming for Theta. How about Matic? Oh, I haven't talked about Polygon / Matic in a long time. That could be fun to talk about. We're going to talk about TFuel because that was requested first, and then we can, or T-drop, my bad, and then we can talk about Polygon as well. I think Gate.io might have, or no, maybe not. Let's see where it has the most data. It's always good to try to find the most data, you guys. Yeah, I guess that is the most data, Gate.io. Unless we want to, oh goodness, there we go. There we go. Unless we want to look at T-drop versus the Korean, the Korean currency. And I'm not really going to do that. So yeah, we have a huge correction here on T-drop. So again, what do you think the general public is going to be doing? Right? Your average investor, they're going to see this chart, and what do you think they're going to do? Well, guess what? Most people aren't as smart as you are. Most people, they see a chart that drops like this, that's down 98%, and instead of thinking, oh, look, that thing is undervalued, I'm going to buy that, what do? They say that thing must be worthless. That's your average person's psychology. That's what most people think like. Most people don't think in terms of opportunity, they think in terms of risk aversion, and they see something that drops like this, and most people get afraid. They're not willing to buy. And there's a reason that 90% of investors lose money. 90% of people that try to make money in the stock market, in the crypto markets, in Forex markets, 90% of them lose money. Why? Because of that exact thing. They do it because they don't buy the dip. They do it because they're too afraid to buy when it's a good buy, and they're too willing to buy when it's a bad buy. Because of crowd psychology. So 90% of people, they see a chart like this and they say, this is completely worthless. Look how hard it dropped. And they get like, they're like laughing. They're like, haha, look how dumb those crypto bros are. Look, these charts have dropped 90%, That's your average person right now with T-drop. But I'll tell you what the 10% that have their head on straight, the 10% that actually make money in these markets, they see something like this and they're like, oh, this is down 97%. And it has more volume down here than it ever did when it was up here. Why? Because the 10% that actually make money, they're loaded. Maybe not at the start, maybe they start off with not a lot of money, but they have volume, right? The big whales, the institutions, they're buying down here. So they're picking this thing up and they're going, look how undervalued this is. Look how good of a buy this is. Look how much this has retraced from its all-time high. This is actually worth taking some risk and putting money into this. And it's really as simple as understanding the market cycle chart and applying it in your everyday trading. Because once you understand this market cycle chart and you realize, you guys, that the point of maximum financial opportunity is also the point of maximum contraction, where the market is completely contracted from its old all-time high. Once you realize that, you're no longer thinking in terms of this thing is dead. You're thinking in terms of everybody thinks this is dead, I'm going to buy. That's the shift in the way that you view the market. Everybody following me here? Everybody understand? If you guys are following and you understand what I'm saying, let me know in the chat. It's super simple, you guys. It's really simple. 90% of investors lose money, 10% make money. The difference between the 10% that make money and the 90% that lose is 90% follow their emotional psychology. They follow the crowd. They do what the masses do. And the other 10% does completely opposite of what they do. It's not that complicated. This is not trigonometry. This isn't rocket science. This is human psychology. And it's one of the most predictable things. It's actually way, way, way more predictable than people would ever want to admit. So T-drop is a really good opportunity down here at less fractions of a penny, you guys. It's super undervalued. You have no idea how many charts that I've seen throughout my 9 years of doing this that looked just like this, where it dropped 90%. Everybody gave up on it. They all think it's dead. And then it sees a big rounded bottom and a massive recovery. I've seen a lot of charts do that. Okay. Polygon. Let's talk about Polygon. I wonder if we have one with more data than that Polygon. Wonder, oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So, back to the market cycle, you guys. This is a market cycle. Let's pull up another example of a market cycle. We could just use Ethereum, honestly. Ethereum will work fine. So over here on the right, we have Ethereum. And over here on the left, we have Polygon. Now, if you look at these two charts, there's actually a lot more similarities than there are differences. And one of those similarities here with Polygon is our ABC correction. We have an ABC down, just like that. And we have an ABC down on Ethereum as well. You can see. So just what I was talking about with the market cycle, what do you think average investors are doing? They're afraid to invest. But what do you think the big whales and the people that have their head on straight, what do you think they're doing down here? They're buying the dip. They're not afraid to pick up coins that are down 90%. They're excited to. They're like, oh, look at the general public. They're being irrational. They're panic selling their coins. And they're being irrational just in the same way that they were irrational up here, but in the other direction. Right? So you just take advantage of that, you know, and I do think Polygon will turn around here. Cool. Nobody cares about T-Drop. T-Drop never had a bull market, not even once. Well, just you wait, my friend. Just you wait. What will be the high for TFuel? Who knows? You know, it could go pretty high. When Theta takes off, it could go pretty dang high. You know? Let's talk about Digubyte. If you got a Digubyte request here. So I've been talking about Digubyte in almost every single live stream now, and there's a reason that I've continually remained bullish on this coin, and it's exactly what I was just teaching you. The big picture market cycle. You don't lose sight of just how powerful it is to buy something down here, just in the same way where when people were irrational up here and panic buying, they're being irrational down here and they're panic selling. And it really is powerful to do opposite of what the general public is doing, to do opposite of what the crowd is doing. And with Digubyte, we have a perfect ABC correction. We have sideways accumulation down here. We have a big, huge spike in volume that also occurred when the price of the market was increasing a little bit right here, which is a good sign to have increasing price and massive spikes in volume. That's the early signs of a reversal. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a reversal take place here on Digubyte. One that breaks up through this local resistance and starts to see a nice move on the upside. You know, that I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that. Let's see, USCG vet, ETH pumped because of stimulus checks that bought up the markets. No, it did not. Okay, yes, stimulus checks added extra money into the markets, but it did not pump because of stimulus checks. Ethereum pumped because the market cycle, way before COVID even happened, I was bullish on Ethereum at the bottom because it landed right onto the Fibonacci retracement of the 88 and the 95% zone after an ABC correction. The market was set up for a pump whether we had stimulus checks or not. And that's just the truth. In fact, it probably would have pumped harder if there wasn't so much manipulation in the markets in terms of just deflating the dollar and not even caring about our economy. You have to understand a good economy leads to real growth. Money goes from the impatient to the patient. Justin, that is exactly right. That is so true. Warren Buffett said, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Now that applies 100% to crypto. I mean, look, when it pumps, look how short-lived these pumps are, you guys. They're not usually that long. Historically. The one that we're going to have in the big picture, I think, is going to be a lot bigger than anything we've ever seen up until this point, to be honest with you. I really believe that. But look how long the market accumulates. It takes forever. And everybody gives up, and they all get cynical, and they all start to think it's going to go down forever, or the crypto's dead, and that it's just done for. So yeah, it is designed. The markets are designed to transfer money from the impatient to the patient. It's like a perfect system for that. Because most of the time it's going down and sideways. And then when it pumps really, really hard. A lot of people FOMO buy in, but they should have been buying a long time ago. So it is so true. Link and AVACs. Yeah, we can do Link and AVACs. Absolutely. I was going to talk about the total market cap, but I mean, we'll just do requested coins the whole time. Unless you guys really want me to talk about the total market cap, then I will. But I'm happy to share my thoughts on the market, honestly. So this is a really good looking chart. So we have a complete cycle, right? From our lows up to our peak and then back down to our lows. And then we're seeing the early signs of a bottom, right? The market's bottoming out, coming up, bottoming out. We're starting to see that early structure where the market is beginning to build momentum. And what this personally reminds me of is actually Bitcoin. It also reminds me a little bit of Ethereum over here, but it especially reminds me of 2015 and 2016 here on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin went for a parabolic run, did an ABC correction down, and then started bottoming out. And you can see when it was bottoming out, it took some momentum to really build that parabolic run. It took some time to build some momentum, to have enough momentum to really go parabolic, right? But in the meantime, it was going boom, 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 getting rejected, pulling back. But it was bottoming out. It was showing the early signs of a bull market. And that's exactly what's happening here with Chainlink. Chainlink is set up for really big things. I believe in Chainlink. Even though I'm not a fundamental analyst, Chainlink is one of those coins where I can actually get behind the fundamentals of this project. I believe it's going to really take off and make a lot of people rich. And a lot of people will be really glad that they bought this thing. So yeah, just keep holding on. I think it's going to kind of go like this and keep bottoming out here and kind of build a basing structure. And especially as it starts to get up above this B wave right here, like when Bitcoin successfully broke above wave B right here, then the market really took off. So once we can kind of get above that resistance right here on Chainlink, I think the market's really going to take off and go nuts. So I like Chainlink a lot, by the way. Hey bro, greetings from Venezuela. Can you do XDC? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish our AVAX analysis, and then we can talk about XDC. Let's pull up AVAX here. And hope you guys are having a wonderful day out there in Venezuela. Caesar? And by the way, back to the market cycle, okay? I'm telling you guys, like, crypto right now is a perfect repeat of the internet bubble, okay? During the internet bubble, we had this massive run up. Everybody got really excited about the internet as a technology. But then it popped. And then average everyday retail investors got afraid of the market, and they all sold their internet stocks, and they all sold in 2003. Now, what happened after 2003 was the mass adoption phase of the internet. The internet got mass adopted after the bubble popped. People don't realize that. All they talk about is how the internet bubble happened and then it popped and investors lost money. But what they don't talk about is anybody that bought the dip after the internet bubble pop, whether it was institutions or regular retail investors that had their head on straight, got supremely rich in the pump that came afterwards. That's what a lot of people don't talk about. And every day, everybody uses the internet to this day. Just, you guys, you have to understand what has happened here in crypto. You can't be an idiot. A lot of people are trying to do this, and they don't have their head on straight. They're trying to treat this market like, oh, well, I'm going to be able to predict the next biggest bear market ever, and I'm the smartest person ever. You guys have to lay your egos aside. You have to humble yourself and see the market for what it is. Because what's happening right now in crypto is the biggest opportunity since the bottom of the entire internet bubble here in 2003 and here in 2008. Because even though that was a housing market crash in 2008, it was also still part of this bigger internet bubble crash. It was doing a double bottom at that point in time, the market was, and the double bottom just so happened to be the 2008 housing financial market crash, right? But it was part of a bigger double bottom structure as a result of the internet bubble pop. Crypto, in fact, I would argue that crypto is an even bigger opportunity than what we saw in 2003 and in 2008 with the internet bubble pop. This was the internet bubble right here, you guys. This was the internet bubble pop. Okay? This was our crypto bubble in 2021. This was our crypto bubble pop in 2022. Here was our housing market financial crisis right here in 2008. And here's our big, oh no, tariff FUD and the world is going to end, and oh no, tariffs, it's all over, you guys. Ah. Do you guys realize what most of you guys sound like? It's ridiculous. It blows my mind how people fall for it over and over and over and over again. The same stuff. Whatever, right? Whatever. So, what people don't talk about is what came after the internet bubble popped. This is what nobody talks about. Not your grandpa, not your dad, not anybody. And by the way, it still happens with the Great Depression. Nobody talks about how there was 100 years of bull market after the Great Depression. Everybody only talks about the fact that there was a Great Depression. Isn't that interesting how that works? Right? Isn't that crazy? But look what happened after the internet bubble popped. Okay, you can't even barely see. Well, you can, but it's not that big in comparison to the growth that came after the internet bubble popped. This is why you buy fear. This is why Warren Buffett tells people to buy fear. This is why all of the best traders, all of the best investors always tell people, buy the dip. Buy when people are fearful. Why do they tell people that? Because it works. That's why they tell people that. And I'm telling you guys right now, AVAX, for example, is just one of the coins that I really believe will do good, is a lot like buying down here in 2008 after the internet bubble popped. Where the crypto bubble popped in 2021, but I firmly believe with all of my heart that we will see another bull market for crypto, and then it will recover, and it will break out to a new all-time high, even though a lot of people are afraid, even though your general public is skeptical and cynical, and they're in the disbelief phase. I firmly believe this will happen. I really do. With all of my heart, I firmly believe it. And not only do I believe it, I have technical reasons to. It's not just, oh, well, Dallin believes this is going to happen because he's got a belief. I do believe it will happen, but I have real technical reasons to believe it. So, you guys, get your head on straight, okay? Seriously. Get your head on straight. Okay, cool. Rico Hawk, good day, Dallin. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is a good day. It's a wonderful day. You guys, by the way, if you don't know, whoops. There we go. If you don't know, most altcoins right now are in the disbelief phase of the cycle. If you look at the disbelief phase of the market cycle, most altcoins are right here. Again, people are saying, look at all these suckers buying crypto. They call it a suckers rally. They're like, oh, look, only suckers would be buying crypto down here. Don't they know about the bubble pop? Don't they know that crypto popped and it was just a fad and, it's gone now, it's over and done with? We're in the disbelief phase of the cycle. Just like how the internet bubble, or the NASDAQ composite, was in the disbelief phase after the internet bubble popped. In 2003 it popped, but in 2008 it was in the disbelief phase of the cycle. So of course people are going to be disbelieving that the market is going to go up. That is literally the point of human emotion that we're at in the market cycle. People are in disbelief. And that's where we're at with crypto right now. So let's talk about XDC. You guys, I'm telling you, understanding human psychology will make you rich. It will. It'll make you rich to understand human psychology. I've helped people make millions in these markets. I made almost $1 million by the time I was 21 years old. Human emotion and human psychology will make you rich. If you understand it and you know how to work with it, it'll make you rich. Even outside of the markets, even outside of buying the fear inside of the markets and selling the excitement inside of the markets, understanding human psychology will make you rich even just working with people. even just working with people. If you understand the way people think and you understand the way people's natural human inclinations work, you have a bigger knowledge of wealth than almost anybody. Cool, look at this, you guys. Even XDC is ahead of the curve here. If we compare XDC to the internet bubble back here on the NASDAQ, you can see it already double bottomed. So right here is our double bottom. It already did that. XDC has already started its bull market. It's like right here. You can see it already broke out, started bottoming out. It's already started its bull market. It's ready for some really, really big things. I'm talking about a new all-time high, which our previous all-time high was about 19 cents. So it can easily break above that level, just in the same way the NASDAQ did over here. Start making higher highs and higher lows. And yes, there will be corrections along the way up. There will be volatility. There will be things that shake people out of the market. But it started a bull market. That's where it's at. It bottomed out. It's actually past XDC in particular is actually in the hope phase of the market cycle. It's out of disbelief now and it's in hope in its new cycle. So it's actually, people are a little bit more confident in XDC than they would be like AVAX. XDC is kind of ahead of the curve here in terms of its market cycle. So I really like that chart a lot, actually. Okay, I wonder, in all humility, people got wrecked once, twice, but they will get a third time. I'm not even going to respond to that one. Theta is going to zero, man. You know, you are entitled to your own opinion about that. Ethereum has an upgrade in May. Think that that matters? No, I don't. I personally do not factor updates on markets into, like, updates in coins to the markets at all. I don't factor that into my analysis at all, period. So no, I don't think it will matter. I do think that Ethereum will increase in value, mainly because of how perfect the opportunity is from a human psychology perspective. But no, I don't factor in updates into these coins, into my analysis at all. Buy the dip. I'm not going to repeat that exactly, but buy the dip, he says, and yes, I agree. You should be buying the dip. Buy the dip. All my money is already in. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a good thing, right? You're on the right path, my friend. Caesar R. I sell my house right now. I go all in with Dallin. Yes, that's the spirit. Go all in. Now, if there was ever a time to be greedy in these markets, you know, it's right now. I don't know about actually selling your house, right? Unless you've got like some low cost like apartment to live in for a little while and you want to really just risk everything, you know, then, you know, that's between you and God, but it might work. That's all I'm going to say. So cool. All right. So I think I've covered most of the coins you guys have asked me to cover so far. So, okay. Let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit. And you guys, by the way, if you don't know, I believe in going all in, not necessarily all in on like a single coin, But one of the things I firmly believe in life is going all in on whatever you're doing, right? So if you're planning, I don't know how many of you guys have businesses or YouTube channels. I know a lot of the people in my one-on-one coaching have businesses, and a lot of people that watch my channel throughout time and in my lifetime and in my mastermind have all been entrepreneurs. But I firmly believe in going all in on stuff. Like, you could have, so like, let's say you have a goal, okay? And you have a goal right here you want to reach, and you're down here, and you want to reach that goal. And let's say you're trying to do like 3 things at once, okay? If you're trying to do 3 things at once, you can make like this much progress, maybe like this much progress, and this much progress, and a little bit of progress here, you know. But you're not really making much progress on a daily or weekly basis. But if you go all in on something, you can make like this much progress in a week. Right? And the same is true for crypto investing, not in terms of not diversifying your portfolio, but some people I find that are into this, and they're into like Forex trading, and they're trying to do stock market trading, and they're trying to do crypto trading, and they're trying to do like a whole bunch of different things at once. Or they have like 30 altcoins. They have like 30 altcoins. That does not work, okay? You're not going to make any progress. Concentrate down to the top like 5 or maximum 10 coins that you can, that you really believe in, that you really think are good projects that are going to make you the most money, and focus on that. And don't try to be a Forex trader and a stock market trader and a crypto investor and have like 6 businesses that you're running all at once. What progress are you going to make on anything? And it's probably mainly ego driven because you just want to look cool. Like, don't be dumb. If you want to make real progress in life, look at Steve Jobs, okay? He went all in on Apple computers. Then when he got outed from the company and had to go all in, he went all in on his next thing. And then when he got brought back to Apple, he took everything that he had learned from going all in on that other thing and brought it back into Apple computers, and he went all in on Apple. And yeah, he was part of Pixar, but it's not like he was spending a lot of time on Pixar in comparison to his other things. You got to be able to focus. You got to be self-disciplined. And the same is true for learning these markets. Don't be spread too thin across a whole bunch of different coins. And if you're planning on running a business, or you do run a business, and you have like 3 or 4 businesses going on at once, you're not going to make a lot of progress. So you could have like maybe 2 things going on. Like I see some people successfully handle 2 things. But man, do people start screwing themselves up, or they want to learn something. They're like, "Oh, I want to learn this new thing." So they like learn how to play guitar. Then they're like, "Okay, I'm learning how to play guitar a little bit. I want to learn how to get into rock climbing." And they're always like switching between like a million different things all the time. Seriously, you think you're going to learn how to do anything good? Like, there's a reason that Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man." Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I was reading that wrong. Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That is so true for life, you guys. Even with your trading strategy, a lot of people try to do like a bunch of different trading strategies. No. My personal trading strategy is very simple, and it doesn't change. It's actually, I've only slightly improved upon it and made slight adjustments to it over the past like 5 years. But I'm perfecting it. I'm perfecting it and getting it down to where I'm very happy and confident in it. So if you guys want to get rich in these markets, you got to think. You got to use your head. And you got to be self-disciplined. And no, it's not that hard to do. It's way, way, way easier to be self-disciplined than it is to be spread thin and not know what you want and feel like you're not making any progress and not having any success. It's actually easier in life to take the path that most people think is hard because you're going to have a lot better of a life. And with Bitcoin here in the big picture, our Elliott waves show us exactly what's happening. We have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're getting ready for our extended fifth wave. We've already started it. We already broke above the top of wave 3. Crypto trades like a commodities market like gold or silver, and it has extended fifth waves in the same way that gold and silver has extended fifth waves. And I firmly believe that with Bitcoin here in the big picture, we could reach upwards of $250,000 per coin in this extended fifth wave. That's where we're going for Bitcoin. The only way you can screw this up is to sell right here instead of buy. That's really the only way you can screw this up. Because then you're going to try to buy up here when everybody's excited. Because you were too late and you didn't get in early like you could have right here early on, and now you're buying up there. That's the only way you can screw this up, you guys. How will crypto break a 4-year liquidity cycle for mass adoption? Because the 4-year cycle is a total freaking myth. Okay? That's how. And I'm not even going to show you why. But if you want to learn, join the free Discord and I'll ask in the questions box and I'll show you. Okay? Yes, the 4-year cycle happened twice. But it didn't happen the first time. And if you study other markets throughout history, most of the time they have 2 cycles inside of a big accumulation pattern before they break out into a bigger picture growth and completely deviate from the 4-year cycle. Do you guys really think this market's just going to go like this forever and 4-year bull market, 4-year bull market, and just do that forever like a sine wave? Like that? No. Markets don't just keep doing. It's not going to do that forever. It's going to deviate. This is what everybody expects is going to happen. It's not going to do that. It's going to deviate. So 4-year cycle theory is stupid. We are headed into mass adoption. I firmly, firmly believe that. Okay, let's see here. Or poor or rich Korean guy. You guys are... the things you guys are talking about in the live chat right now is hilarious. Oh, man. No, I don't think that Mr. Sleeping Korean guy is going to have to work at McDonald's. I think if he holds his crypto, he might be able to buy a McDonald's if he wants to. And own it as a franchise. Oh. So, I'm going to talk about 4-year cycle theory, even though I said I wasn't going to. Look at this, you guys. Okay, let's just look, for example, like Bitcoin first. Okay. Does Bitcoin follow the 4-year cycle? Does it really follow the 4-year cycle? No, it doesn't. Even Bitcoin doesn't follow the 4-year cycle, okay? Look at this. Here's our first cycle on Bitcoin, which, by the way, the bull market lasted less than a year, about a year, right here. And then the bear market lasted like 1 year. So there's a 2-year cycle, okay? 2-year cycle. Then a bull market starts. Then we get a 4-year cycle and then another 4-year cycle. Okay. But the first cycle ever on Bitcoin was not a 4-year cycle. It was a 2-year cycle. Now let's talk about NVIDIA, okay? NVIDIA is another really good example of an accumulation cycle. So that right there debunks the idea that Bitcoin is just guaranteed to just move in Fourier cycles forever. Now let's look at this right here, okay? Here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA, although the stock market moves in twice as big of cycles than crypto does, generally speaking, NVIDIA had a cycle right here, had a bear market, had another cycle, had a bear market. What does this remind us of? Well, this looks a lot like altcoins over the past 8 years. And yet people think altcoins are just going to go like this. Like it's just going to be like an ocean wave and just make these wonderful ocean waves continuously, like it's just some magical thing that just, it just does these just ocean waves of just 4-year cycles forever, and we're all just the smartest people in the world for having 4-year cycles. No, you guys, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry to bust your bubble and tell you guys that you're wrong, but really I'm not sorry, because I want you guys to make money. And also, I'm going to make a lot more money if I tell you the truth than I just tell you something just because it sounds cool and everybody likes it, you know. So yeah, I'll make more money too. But look at this, okay? Look at XLM. Do you guys really think, and I'm being 100% honest with you about this. Where do we pull this up? Right here. There we go. Do you guys really think that XLM is just going to repeat? It's just going to go like this forever? Just going to go whoop, whoop, and just do these 4-year cycles sideways forever like this? No. Are you kidding me? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Crypto is set up for mass adoption. Okay? XLM is not just going to go sideways forever and do these 4-year cycles and pump and then dump, and everybody that knows about it is a super genius and they're all going to get rich, and everybody that doesn't is a dummy and they're all going to... No, that's not how these markets work, okay? And NVIDIA and Stellar Lumens, if anything, Stellar Lumens looks exactly like NVIDIA in its early day accumulation. So yeah, a lot of people are going to fall for the 4-year cycle because we had 2 of them. And by the way, if we've already deviated from a 4-year cycle, if you guys are thinking it's just going to magically happen. Do you guys realize how hard we'd have to pump like in the next just 6 months and then just completely crash? And I do think we are going to pump pretty hard in the next 6 months. But I don't believe in the 4-year cycle at all. I think it's it's stupid. Look at this, you guys. If anything, Stellar Lumens is preparing for a mass adoption, for a massive increase in value that will be sustained. And its accumulation that it's been doing over the past 8 years is part of a bigger picture adoption cycle. But because everybody thinks they've figured out the whole universe and that this 4-year cycle is this magic thing that's just going to make them rich, they're going to get screwed. They're going to sell too soon. A lot of them are already selling because they think the top of the 4-year cycle happened early. Like, oh my goodness. Please, people, don't do this stuff. Don't do it. Okay? I mean, look at all this volume. Even the volume looks exactly like early accumulation on NVIDIA. Identical. Like, the crypto markets are set up for mass adoption. All right? It's going to be huge. Demand isn't going anywhere. They could increase for a lot longer than a single year. Because if something gets mass adopted, do you really think when demand continually increases for something, do you really think that magically it's just going to just stop increasing in value when the demand of something continues to increase? No, it's not going to. It won't. When the demand when mass adoption occurs and the demand continually increases for something, the price isn't just going to magically stop going up. It's going to keep going way higher than people think, because the snowball effect started and it's being adopted by the public. And when it's being adopted by the public and everybody's using it, they're telling all of their friends, and their friends are telling all their friends. And that's what adoption is. It creates a curve where the demand for something doesn't go anywhere. And when the demand doesn't go anywhere, the price does nothing but go up, pretty much. I mean, there's corrections along the way, but not massive, huge bear markets. That was all part of the accumulation cycle, you guys. It will see a bear market at some point, but not until it's astronomically overvalued. And go watch last week's live stream if you guys want to get an idea of where I think the bear market is going to go, or when it could start in terms of timing. But just real quick for today, I'll just tell you I think it could last until 2029. The bull market could for crypto. Ethereum will moon big time. Litecoin will boom. Bitcoin Cash will be a pants crapper. You guys. XRP will head to Mercury. XLM will hit a grand slam. Dogecoin will wrap into the Milky Way. Yes, Matthew, I actually 100% agree with everything that you just said. That's very true. All of those things I do think will happen. 100%. Will meme coins get mass adopted too? Honestly, some of them will get mass adopted in a way. Yeah, they will. Because the demand, the market increase, and the market share for crypto will get so big that a lot of these meme coins, it'll be almost impossible for them not to be taken seriously. I mean, once people start accepting things like Dogecoin at Starbucks, that's mass adoption, right? That's the beginning of something big. And yeah, even though a lot of them are jokes, it doesn't matter. If there's demand for something, then it's going to increase in value. And if people are really using it because it's useful, because even though Dogecoin is a joke, it's still useful, then yeah, a lot of meme coins will end up being, in a way, mass adopted. Even though, I don't know, some of them will actually probably do pretty good. I really think they will, So, Volk says he says Doge LFG. Yes. Big things for Doge coming out. Yeah, I think so too. I think Dogecoin will be a big player for this cycle. I really believe that 100%, that it will be. So keep this in mind, you guys. Denounce the Fourier cycle and look at the accumulation cycle. That's what I want you guys to, instead of be thinking about Fourier cycle, what I want you guys to think about is the accumulation cycle, because that's what happened over the last 8 years for crypto. A lot of these coins have been part of massive multi-year accumulation cycles. And the fruition of that accumulation cycle is going to be unbelievably profitable. Insanely profitable. I mean, people have no idea what's coming. I'm telling you. People have no idea what's coming. Look at this on XRP. What is this? It's an accumulation cycle. That's what happened over the last 8 years with XRP. And the fruition of this accumulation is going to be lucrative. We're talking counting hundreds, pulling out your wallet and going, ooh, look how much money I've got. That's what we're talking about. We're looking in your bank and going, oh, nice. It's nice to have a couple million in savings or whatever you want. That's the kind of money that we're talking about making in this mass adoption cycle when things break out. So, be ready. And if you feel like making money is a bad thing, man, go read some books. All right. That's my advice for the week. Go read some books. Doge is better blockchain than Bitcoin. In a lot of ways it is. I agree. Dallin, talk of all the altcoins for Matthew, please. Oh, he's saying how everything will moon, so I'm not going to go over all of those coins because we're already an hour and 5 minutes in, but I fundamentally agree with him, actually, that a lot of those coins are going to go crazy. And yeah, I think they're going to go nuts. So I do agree with Matthew on that. So don't give up on the markets, you guys. Big things are coming. And go read some books, all right? I'll tell you one book right now, and it's only 50 minutes long. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So this is based on the Bible verse in the Holy Bible where it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So there's this awesome book. It's only 50 minutes long. You can go listen to it on YouTube. The audio version is only 50 minutes long. And the book is like pretty thin, so you can get a PDF of it for free, probably somewhere online. This book will change your life, okay? It'll change your life. So that's your homework for the week. If you don't have an hour, then go leave my channel forever. Don't ever watch me again, okay? But if you have 50 minutes to go change your life, then go listen to this book, and you're going to be glad that you did. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's live stream. I appreciate you. I love you guys. I love doing these streams. It's super fun. Thank you for all of the requests for your favorite coins. Super happy to do analysis for you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos and future live streams. Make sure you keep picking up your favorite cryptos and keep accumulating as much as you possibly can. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. And as always, stay profitable out there. Boss, I know you want me to sing some Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I actually don't have my guitar on me right now because I'm at my studio. So maybe next time I'll bring it, and then we'll do some music at the end. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, as always, stay profitable out there.